Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Treasures. Today we will take you on a journey back in time through Old Cairo to tour Al Mu'izz Street and Qalawun complex. His real name, Al-Malik Al-Mansur Saifuddin Qalawun Al-Alfi. He was the 7th Mamluk Sultan of Egypt who ruled the country from 1279 to 1290. Qalawun was a Kipchak Turk who became a Mamluk in the 1240s after being sold for 1,000 dinars to a member of Sultan Al-Kamil's household. Qalawun was known as Al-Alfi, or the 1,000 man, because Al-Malik As-Salih bought him for 1,000 dinars of gold. He barely spoke Arabic. He rose in power and influence and became an emir under Sultan Baybars, whose son Barakh Khan was married to Qalawun's daughter.
Welcome to Al Mu'izz Street, literally one of the oldest streets still existing in the world. It goes back to the early beginning of Cairo's foundation. Around 958 AD, the new rulers of Egypt, the Fatimids, when they start building the new city with its great walls and its great gates, this was the beginning of early Cairo urban planning. The street, or the ancient boulevard of medieval Cairo, runs from the southern gate to the northern gate, and the street named after the ruler of Cairo at that time, the Sultan Al Mu'izz. So it still carries the name of Al Mu'izz up until now, running from Bab Zuwayla, south where we are, to Bab El Futuh, north of where we are. As you walk in the great Al Mu'izz Street, you literally witness the history of Cairo throughout the centuries and throughout the ages. We have Fatimid monuments, we have Ayyubide monuments, we have early Mamluk monuments, later Mamluk monuments. We have Ottoman monuments, and later days Muhammad Ali family monuments. It is like history. It is a parade of history and monuments. Each monument along the street tells the story of its time, tells the story of its people. We have interesting artistic characters for each period of time. And as you walk, you basically explore, enjoy, and indulge in various artistic schools from the early days of the street till the 19th century. The largest number of monuments located in one area in Cairo, here in this area, from the Islamic period. More than 1,000 years of stories we can tell here in that area. Stories, all what you need to do, walk in the streets and peel off those historic layers one after the other, telling stories about the Fatimid, its early festivals, its palaces, its courtyards and gardens, telling stories about the Ayyubides and their early tombs and their schools, telling stories about the magnificent Mamluk rulers and their schools and madrasas and hospitals and tombs all along the streets. We are now standing in front of one of the greatest monuments still remaining in the area, the complex of the fantastic Mamluk ruler Qalawun. The complex of Sultan Qalawun goes back to 1260, 1270 AD, the early Mamluk art and the early Mamluk period. But the complex of Sultan Qalawun, standing in the heart of El Muezz Street, surrounded with number of interesting monuments related to it. For example, right in front of me here, we have the tomb and the dome of the famous Sultan Nigm el-Din Ayyub. This is the last ruler from the Ayyubite family. Nigm el-Din Ayyub tomb goes back to 1250 AD, and the tomb beautifully decorated from outside with Islamic calligraphy, with the marble. You can see the stone carvings. This is what we call it the later of the Ayyubide and the beginning of the Mamluks. This man, Nigm el-Din Ayyub, who invited the Mamluks to come to Egypt. This man brought the Mamluks to Egypt. The Mamluks were not only from one area, as most of us think. The Mamluks came from Sicily. The Mamluks came from the Greek Isles, from the Aegean Sea, from Turkey, from nowadays South Russia and Georgia. This is the origin of the Mamluks. They came to serve in palaces. They came to serve at maids. They came also to serve in army. So Nigm el-Din Ayyub is responsible to bring the Mamluks to Egypt. Then the Mamluks started to rule Egypt, and Qalawun, the greatest Mamluk family that ruled almost for 100 years, from 1260 all the way to 1360, 1370. 100 years, one family was able to rule the country from a father to son, some sort of hereditary style. But the problem is, the Mamluks have two sources. We call them Mamluks Borgi and the Mamluks Bahari. The early Mamluks are the Mamluks Borgi, who used to live in towers, or burg in Arabic, and they were on Rhoda Island, Manial nowadays. So Qalawun and Baibars, which remains of his school, is right there. Take a look at the school and take a look at the art. The decoration of the art and the stone carvings right in front of you, this is what we call it early Mamluk art. The early Mamluk art clearly reflects what we call it the Seljuk style of carvings. The Seljuk art, this is very famous in southeast Turkey and North Syria and west of Iran nowadays. This is the Seljuk kingdom. So the Mamluks were highly influenced in their early days with the Seljuk art. So this school of Baibars, one of the early Mamluk rulers, 1255, 1260. Baibars ruled shortly after Nigm el-Din, and after Baibars, Qalawun ruled. So these three buildings were built around the same time, almost in 20 years. Almost in 20 years, this tomb, this school, and this great complex we're about to explore together right now was built as well. Qalawun was a great ruler. He did not only defended Egypt against the Crusades, he did not only defended Egypt against the Mongols. So the Crusaders and the Mongols were threatening Egypt with waves after waves after waves. But Qalawun and his family were able to stop the threats. And the victories in the battlefields gave them incredible power, incredible strength, and they were able to build their kingdom in Egypt and in the surroundings. The kingdom of the Mamluks in the times of Qalawun stretched to Syria, to Palestine, and many of the Greek Isles and Mediterranean Isles were also part of his kingdom. Many, many monuments we see along the walk from the Mamluk period, from the family of Qalawun, this great man who started this great man who started a great kingdom, and he was able to rule, ironically, for 100 years. No other Mamluks family ruled for 100 years. But Qalawun is the founder of a great family, and the founder of a great complex, and the founder of one of the marvels of architecture in Islamic history.